Hello, people. Welcome to another session at Festive Tech Calendar 2023. This is Saeid from Sweden. I'm going to talk about another cool service in Azure called Azure Arc, and we're gonna learn together about this cool service on Azure. Stay tuned. Welcome again to my session. As I mentioned before, I'm gonna talk about Azure Arc. As I love movies, especially The Matrix, I combine the Matrix movie story and Azure Arc together because I believe working on multi-cloud and managing on-premise environment can be a matrix that can stuck us in middle of complexity. So let's get started with the session. As an Azure architect and admin, when I have everything on Azure is very easy to manage, right? So I can easily deploy applications, resources, manage the security, and access, monitor, and set alerts. So basically, I can define different policies and use Azure scalability features to have a high performance environment. But what if I have on-premise environment? How about an hybrid scenario with on-premise environment which is distributed in different physical location? Let's make it more complex. What if I have multi-cloud and have resources on different clouds like GCP or AWS? So I still need to have the scalability on my environment as much as I have on Azure. Also, I should be able to control different level of security. Who would be managed on this complex scenario? How would be my cost estimation since I need to use different tools and applications to manage my environments? And of course, innovation is not enough flexible, and deployment can be a big problem or some headache in this kind of complex hybrid environment or multi-cloud environment. So basically, this is the moment that I feel that I stuck in middle of the complex scenario. So like now, I want to see how can I fix this problem? How can I tackle to this kind of issues? How can I address them? So before I continue, let me talk a bit about myself. My name is Saeid Dahl, Microsoft Learning expert and one of community leaders of Azure, Zero to Hero, and also MS Farsi communities with almost 1,800 members. I'm Azure technical leader and senior solution architect at vSafe. I've been working in IT industry in past 15 years, and also my main focus is on automation and integration, cloud adoption, and hybrid cloud on Azure. If you would like to connect me, you can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. So let's talk about myself and let's back to our story. Overwhelmed by complexity of potential solutions and unable to find a suitable one, I felt defeated and suddenly received a message from an unknown person offering help. However, I wondered how they could assist me. So basically, like Matrix movie story, I need some help, right? So the guy who wants to help me gives me two options, a red pill and a blue pill. With the red pill, I have to managing various environments separately, and the cloud innovation and leading to inconsistency security is the problem. Additionally, running cloud native application on something like Kubernetes faces difficulty due to using different tools and compliance issue. And I can stay in the matrix of complexity if I choose red pill. In the other hand, if I take the blue pill, I manage diverse resources and environment using Azure across various tools and APIs like PowerShell, CLI, REST API, so on. I ensure consistency policy, governance, and deployment of cloud-native apps, Azure data services on any type of Kubernetes clusters, and extending benefits to on-premise workloads like Windows Server and SQL servers. So now it's time to make a good decision. Since I want to get out the matrix and be able to manage my environment is a best and flexible way, I choose the blue pill. Of course, the blue color remind me the Azure color, and that would be the second reason I choose the blue pill. So now I'm in the Azure Arc Wonderland and I'm ready to learn more about that. Let's have a look on high-level diagram. As you can see, with Azure Arc, I can manage my environments regardless of physical distribution. So with Azure Arc, I can manage the resources or use Azure feature as much as I can manage or deploy in Azure. I'm now able to use my favorite services like Logic Apps, Service Bus, Machine Learning, or Autopatch and Azure Automation, not only in Azure, but also different hybrid environments. I'm able to monitor and control resources even in the other clouds, or I can make sure the governance can be easily applied on my entire hybrid environment. That's cool, right? But before I continue with Azure Arc management, let's see how Azure does work. First of all, I should generate a specific onboarding script in my Azure environment. When the script is ready, I can run the script on my physical node and an agent will be installed on my machine. When installation is done, the agent will start the communication with my Azure Arc in my tenant. One of the cool facts of the Azure Arc is you do not need to open any inbound port on your firewall. So basically, the outbound connection, that it's only connection that you need in your environment on port 443. When the server onboarded to Azure, then basically I can monitor, manage, or push policies as well as I do on actual Azure resources. So basically, you can have all of options that you have on actual Azure resources, but on your on-premise environment. If you already watched the Matrix movie, so you know what is the concept of this phone in this movie. So for those who have not watched the movie yet, by answering the specific phones, Neo and his friends could be able get out from the Matrix world when they were in a danger or in the other situations. So I'm not trying to spoil the movie for those who have not watched this movie yet, but yeah. The good things about Azure Arc is I have the same phones concept. So if I got stuck in a Matrix situation, Azure Arc has a solution for me. So let's have a look on them. The first one is Azure Arc Resource Breach. I have VMware vSphere and also I have System Center included Hyper-V. In this part of the organization, I have implemented Azure Stack HCI to have my own private cloud. I know it can be a complex scenario, but if I have this environment, then Azure Arc is my Matrix phone, which can help me to get out from the complexity of the management. I can manage VMs, control and apply updates, control the access, and monitor my environment in a single plane of the management. I just need to deploy the Azure Arc resource bridge to be able to onboard my environment to Azure Cloud and manage them. The next one is my favorite one. I had very hard time to manage and update my servers on different environments like on-premise environment or the other clouds. So had to manage and control them by different applications, and of course problem with cost and not enough flexibility to deployment and management what I was faced. So with Azure Arc enabled server, I onboarded my servers to the cloud, and now I can apply my Azure tenant policies, and I can use Azure Defender for cloud. I'm able to use configuration management and patch management in high scale, and in the other hand, the security and monitoring are very easy for me now. My developers always were sad about lack of flexibility on Kubernetes environment. Now, not they only have enough flexibility to continue development, but also I'm so happy because I can control the security of the environment in different layer, which is easy to manage with Azure RBAC or role-based access control and Azure Entra ID. Now I have centralized management, and I can help developers to use machine learning if they want to have these features on their environment. By Azure Arc, I could bring all of Kubernetes cluster to a single plane of the management. If you're familiar with AKS or Azure Kubernetes Service, or if you already work with this service, would it nice to mention you can have the same experience as you have with AKS if you have onboarded your Kubernetes cluster, actually on-premise Kubernetes clusters into the Azure by Azure Arc. In my organization, I have different databases that I cannot leverage to move them to any cloud because of the country boundary for government regulation. So how about this scenario? Yes, I did use Azure Arc. Now I am able to manage, apply security, and have elastic scale option regardless where database is running. I can apply updates or control the databases in one single plane or of management. Also, since I have a specific Kubernetes cluster in the deployment, I can apply disconnected scenario in my environment, which is help if I want to apply more level of security or if I have limitation of the connections. I was always thinking that would be nice if I can have same control that I have on my SQL servers on Azure. So Azure Arc helped my dream came true. So now, since I onboarded my SQL servers, I'm able to use Defender for Cloud to control the security, and also I can have best practice assessment to make sure all best practices are applied on my SQL servers and databases. Also, I have two SQL Server version 2022, and now I can use Azure Authentication Logging for them, which is great for security perspectives. So all of these features come together to be the phone that helped me to get out from the matrix. Now we got familiar with different management on Azure Arc. Let's have a look on price models. The fact is, onboarding, resources inventory, tagging, and using role-based access control are free to use. It's so cool, yeah? So you can onboard your resources on Azure Arc today with no cost. But about the actual cost, when we should pay for the service. So On Azure Arc enabled servers, for each server, if you use guest configuration, then you need to pay $6 per month, which is not that much. Also, other services like Defender monitoring are the same price as you have on Azure resources. So there is no differences between Azure resources or onboarded resources by Azure Arc. For Kubernetes, you have $2 per virtual CPU for each month, but first 6 virtual CPU are free. In data service, you have two options, which depends on the number of the core and size of the RAM that you need to deploy in your environment. So now it's the demo time. I have two demos today. The first one is a bit intermediate, which is including onboarding a server to Azure Arc, and the second one is more advanced. Before I start the first demo, let's have a moment and think about the advanced part of the demo. You may think, okay, Azure Arc is for hybrid solution and environment, which is very true. And maybe you think you don't have the option to play around with this service because you neither have an on-premise resources nor resources on other clouds. Also, it's time consuming and complex. That it's the correct part actually of the implemented. But I want to introduce a very amazing solution which will help you to start and test Azure Arc like a pro. Ladies and gentlemen, Jumpstart. Big thanks to Jumpstart team. They have created a very amazing solution, and based on that, you are able to implement different scenarios for Azure Arc. And all of that possible by ARM template or Bicep. Very easy to implementation, and you just need to focus on how to use Azure Arc, not the implementation part. So today I want to show you how you can use Jumpstart to start working with testing Azure Arc. Check out Jumpstart project site on Azure Arc jumpstart.io. And in a very perfect way, Jumpstart team provides step-by-step of how you can implement the solutions. They recently changed the website design, and to be honest, I fall in love with the new look. So you have to check these websites. You can find different scenarios and you can choose one of you like to test. And as you can see in code design principle, they have done an amazing work here. So you do not need to spend too much time for the implementation. The details are there and you can use different diagrams to understand better about each project. You can choose one of flavor, depends on scenario, but you should make sure that you have all requirements in your Azure environment, like available core on a specific region. So by using Jumpstart, you do not need to have any on-premise or other cloud resources to start testing and working with Azure Arc. Again, thanks to Jumpstart team. Okay, talk less and let's go for the first demo that I prepared for you. So let's start with the first demo. As I said, it's an intermediate level demo. So in this demo, we are going to onboard a test server into Azure Arc. So in Azure portal, navigate to Azure Arc. It's a server. So I go to machines and create, and I can add a machine. So here you have several options to onboard your servers, if it's multi-servers, if it's single server. So in this case, I'm going to have a single server onboarding to Azure Arc. So I go with generate script. I will select a region and then I can create a new one, new resource group actually. And then it's the connectivity method that you are going to have. So as you can see, you have public, proxy, and private endpoint. So you can define different level of access to your environment. So in this case, I go with public endpoint. So you can enable auto manage, but right now I do not need to do that. And also you can define different tags. So these tags will help you to identify your resources in different data centers. So here I have the actual script. So as you can see, I can download this script, or I can copy entire the script in my clipboard. I have my server here. As you can see, it's a server 2022 located on my local server, local environment actually. And here I can run the PowerShell. So I just need to run the script on this server. So, and we just need to wait. As you can see, it's going to install the agent, download the necessary files, and then we'll onboard the server into Azure. So I'm going to pause the video, and when this step is done, I'll back. So I'm back. So as you can see, I got this message, connected machine to Azure, and I have the resource ID here. And if I back to Azure Arc, check for machines, as you can see, the machine is onboarded into my environment. So let's see what I have here. As you can see, it's exactly like an Azure VM that you can have your environment. I have several options here like security, change tracking, policies, logs, updates, and even I can enable the Windows Admin Center, so I can manage the server completely from Azure side. Beside that, you have some security access here, or even if we go and navigate to connect, so as you can see, you have the option to be connect to server in different method. So I'm going to enable the Windows Admin Center to show you that you have some options here too. I'm going here, press setup, and then default listening port, and then install. And this process is including the install the extension for the admin center on the actual server that you have. So the installation of the extension for admin center is done. If I go here to the server and navigate to Windows Admin Center here, so you can see I have a notification here that I need to be part of a specific group access. So it's really easy. You just need to click here, go to add role assignment, and just find Windows Admin Center, login, next, and then add member. Select your account, next, assign, and it's just done. So if I back to the machine, so in admin center, as you can see, now I have to be connect. So I select connect, and Windows Admin Center is starting now. So as you can see, you have a lot of options here, and what you are seeing here is related to some logs that is fetched from the server and it's live data. Beside that, you have several options here, like PowerShell, checking the process, managing the role and features, if you want to create a schedule task on your on-premise server, and some more options there. Also, you can control the networking part. So for example, if we go to remote desktop, let's see what we can have here. In remote desktop, you just need to enter the username and password of your server. And then confirm, connect, and done. So you basically, as you can see, I got access to the server from the cloud. So it kicked me out, and now I connect that to my server via remote on Azure, and it's the web-based one. So basically you can define different level of access to your environment, and it's so cool because you are able to set access for logging to the server with many different security ways, and also you are able to control the actual resource on Azure environment with role-based access control. So beside that, you have the policy options here that you can easily push Azure policy to your environment. So this was the first demo, and let's jump to the second one. So for the second demo, we are starting with Azure Jumpstart web page. So as you can see, there is the new web page, which is really cool, perfect design, and you have several options here. So you can start with one of these Azure Jumpstart Universe. So if you want to work with HCI box or different scenarios, or Arc box or Agora. So basically each one of these universe basically are different than the others. Based on your need, you can go with different scenarios. So in this demo, we are working on Arcbox. So Arcbox is all you need to implement to your Azure environment to be able to use different resources and working on a specific scenario. So based on your need, you can select a different flavor. For example, for Arcbox Full, which is included all of resources that you need for a full solution, or IT Pros, DevOps, DataOps, or more. So here I go with Arcbox Full, which is included all of resources that I need for a full test environment. So it's included Kubernetes, servers, Linux server, Windows server, SQL server, assessments. So you have most items that you need to test. So if you check the documentation and if you go through that step by step, you can learn a lot, and it's really easy to implement. So I'll just going to summarize that. As I've mentioned before, you have to make sure about the requirement specifically for different solutions, that you have to make sure you have enough core for each region, that it comes to different type of the VMs, and then you need to have application app registration or application app principal for your environment to be able to work with the Azure Arc Jumpstart. So as you can see, you can create the application here, with different methods like PowerShell, AZ login, and so on, AZ module. So you have several options to implement this solution. For example, you can deploy it into Azure with Azure Portal, which is really easy. You just need to click here, fill out some information here, and wait for deployment to be done. You have ARM template here, so you need to clone the Git repo on your PC to be able to use that. So you need to update some items in paramet.json file, which is included the app ID, secrets, tenant ID, some other information that are necessary. Also, you have the bicep option and Terraform. So all requirements are the same, but you can have different options to deploy that. So in this case, I used a bicep method. So it takes several minutes, depends on the solution that you want to implement. So I used bicep, all of resources has been created. And if I go to resource group that I've created for this scenario, you can see a lot of resources have been created in this resource group. So all of those elements are related to some specific part of this scenario. So next step is working on the ArcBox client. So you need to log in to ArcBox client, and after the first login, you can see a lot of pre-tasks will be start on your screen, and you just need to wait those tasks be done. So let's get connected to that server. So in this case, you need to enable the remote desktop connection. So I'm going to enable the remote desktop connection, and after that I can able to connect to the server. So I set the policy so I set the network policy and the port that should be open for remote desktop logging. Also, you can use Bastion. So in this scenario, I just use the normal RDP. So the public IP and the login, and for this username password, you already have to define that in if you use Terraform, ARM template, or Bicep, you already define that into the parameter JSON. And then if you use Azure Portal for deployment, you already define that on the process of the deployment. So let's connect to the server. So I just connect to the server, and as you can see, a lot of items, or let's say tasks, are started. So what you need to do, you just need to sit and enjoy the magic of Jumpstart team that they have done for you. So basically you just need to wait and see what is the result. To just check and make sure, you have to get done on all of these tasks, and after that I'll show you that you will have more resources in the resource group that you already created the actual project. So I pause the video, and when the process is done, I'll back to you. So the implementation and configuration is done. So basically you have some resources here and some applications. For example, you will have a Hyper-V and some virtual machines on it. So you can use these machines as a test for using Azure Arc. Also, you have Data Studio and Microsoft SQL Server Management to work with resources that you have in your scenario, which are connected to Azure. So let's have a look on Azure side. If I start with machines, you can see several machines here that are onboarded to this environment. You can get some information about each machines. For example, for this one, Defender for Cloud is enabled. So if we have a look on this one, go to security, you can see some information here. So basically, for example, one of them is related to brute force attack. So we can get some information here. So it means if you have on-premise server in your environment, you can easily enable this Cloud Defender security and make sure that you control your server in best way. Also, I got, for example, an email as an admin that there is some security issue in my test environment. So you're able to receive these kind of emails too. Beside that, for example, you can enable updates and test how does it work in on-premise environment. This one is not enabled to my environment yet, but you can use updates, inventory, and change tracking easily for your scenario. As you can see, except Windows OS, I have 2 Ubuntu's, so I can do the tests for Linux operation systems too. Beside that, I have Kubernetes clusters here. So for each Kubernetes clusters that are available in my environment, I can get some information regarding monitoring pods and workloads. So you are able to work with your clusters easily inside Azure. And you can basically use, for example, access control IAM to manage the access to actual clusters. The other part that has been implemented by this deployment is Azure Arc SQL Server. So you can see it's a SQL Server 2019 connected best practices, which is still in uploading result. So after it's finished, you can see all best practices that can be applied to your environment. And also you have Cloud Defender for your cloud that can be enabled for your SQL servers too. And also I can see a very good overview of all of the databases I have here, like the size, the types, and capability levels and so on, compatibility levels and so on, like collections. You are able to manage your SQL servers easily here by managing patching. For example, you can define maintenance hour or maintenance day for patching your servers automatically from Azure side. And also in SQL management instance, you're able to work with that one with Azure Data Studio. So basically, regardless that this database is located in any place in your organization, you're always able to use Azure options and capability to manage your resources. The other cool thing is you have this workbook enabled to this environment. So you have the monitoring, you can see all information about resources that you have in this environment, like server enabled or like Kubernetes clusters, and basically the pods, the container status, and all of those information are related to your on-premise environment. So you can have a very good overview on your resources in Azure. And you can set alerts, you can set different monitoring options on top of that. Also, you can control the security here, and you can get some information about each services that you have. and also some inventory. So basically, I really recommend you to use Azure Arc Box because it's a good initial steps that you can get more familiar with Azure Arc. Thank you joining me today. And as we wrap up, I want to wish you all a fantastic 2024 ahead and a Merry Christmas. And I hope the information shared here will be helpful for all of you. So, Merry Christmas again, and thank you.